Hello, hello, hello. My name is Angela Odom, and I am so excited to be with you today. Again, I am so excited to be here on the Better You Leadership Podcast. This is the live recording of the podcast, and this is episode 40. And so it's Better You Leadership Podcast. So I thought, why don't we talk about leadership today? Why don't we talk about leadership? So I am the host of the Better You Leadership Podcast and the founder of the Better You Project, the brand itself. I teach women how to lead themselves and others and how to manage processes. And today we are looking at a portion of Eclipse of really the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. It's a book written by John C. Maxwell, and he is a prolific writer of leadership. And you will most likely have heard of him at some point. But he has written, I would say hundreds of books relating to leadership. And this particular book, the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, is we're going to take a look at the chapter on influence, right? So he has 21 laws that he's written, and I believe him, by the way. And so he talks about influence, and I want you to just consider the fact that um, anywhere you go, there's going to be someone who believes that they have the exact definition of leadership. Well, guess what? There are a gazillion different definitions of leadership. And John C. Maxwell, he says that leadership is influence. Simple. I mean, he said that's it. I believe he believes that, and I want to just cover, the laws of leadership laws of influence as he has, posted them. So he says the true measure of leadership is influence, and within the this particular chapter of these 21 laws of leadership, um, he points out the fact that there are some various myths, myths, myths relating to leadership, and that leadership is not the same as management. It's not the same as entrepreneurship. It's not the same as knowledge. It's not the same as pioneering, and it's definitely not the same as position, being in a position. So again, that's what we'll talk through today. And when we get to the part about the 7 factors of influence that women leaders really should know, should master, I'm going to ask you to actually rate yourself on those 7 factors. But first, let's just back up and consider the actual myths and what they really mean. So there's this myth that management and leadership is the same. They're 2 equal terms. That is not true. According to Maxwell, the difference is that leadership is about influencing people to follow, to do something, to act, right? And then management really focuses on maintaining systems and processes. Management. So you could be a manager, a leader, and you could actually be a person in a position of authority, managing systems and processes, and be an effective leader. And you could be, an effective leader, someone who is influencing others to accomplish whatever this task might be, and still be managing processes. Alexa, stop. So I want you to just consider first the fact when you are using words that you first know what you are attempting to convey and that you speak it in a manner that people actually understand. So do not conflate the two, leadership and management, or leaders and management. They're not the same, right? Focus on, they actually get 2 different results. So just know that. And then we talk about the second myth of entrepreneurship. We we assume that entrepreneurs are leaders. And, really lots of people who are entrepreneurs who have a side hustle, who, have a second stream of income, they are really, they're not really suited for to leadership roles. So I'm like, people skills, like they're horrible in social skills, people skills, getting along with others, right? And they often lack experience, and still others are only focused on making a profit. And really, so being an entrepreneur and a leader is not synonymous. So these are myths, right? And then you've heard people say knowledge is power. So that is not necessarily true. So we have lots of incredibly intelligent people, book smart people, right? Or people might be streetwise, and they're not leaders. So simply because leadership requires more than knowledge, is not necessarily, they're not necessarily leaders. So when you hear that the whole thing about knowledge is power, really? So the bottom line is, Maxwell, in this book, he writes that neither IQ nor education necessarily equates to leadership. And when you say it like that, when you hear me say it, then right, you're like, right, yeah, like I know people who have high IQs, and I wouldn't follow them around the block, right? Or people who have, several degrees, and they're not necessarily effective leaders, right? And I'm telling you from experience, I got 2 master's degrees, and that does not necessarily mean that I can lead you in, making ice cream. And then the fourth myth is pioneer, which is the idea that whoever is in front of the crowd as a leader is a leader. That whole, you've seen that. Well, I served 27 years in the Army, and infantry follow me. There's like this big old stature of a man with his hand back. He's like, follow me, waving, follow me. So just because he's first does not necessarily means he's an effective leader. However, being a leader requires much more than being the first one to accomplish a task or think of an idea, right? It takes much more than that. And finally, the position myth, the idea that leadership is based on positions. Well, we know that there's a whole bunch of people in various positions who you don't follow them anywhere. They say something, they don't have credibility. You ask for clarification, and then you back it up with another one. Then you're hesitant to still act because you don't trust them. Just because they're in a position of authority, somebody has appointed them or hired them to be in that position, does not necessarily mean that they're the one who influences others, right? And so poor management really is a leading reason why people leave their jobs. And Maxwell, in his books, he says it's not the position that makes the leader, it's the leader that makes the position. So I want to share with you, really want you to identify those myths, and then think about what you might be susceptible to, right? What you might need to change or to shift in your own thinking when we're talking about those various myths. It's myth of management, right? Leadership does not equal management, not the same. Leadership does not equal entrepreneurship, right? Or knowledge, or pioneer, meaning the person going first, or position. So think about if you have, thought yourself to be a leader because you were in a position, or a leader because you're first, or a leader because all those things. So just think through that, and then consider actual characteristics that might be factors that you can consider when thinking about leading, right? And so, as Maxwell in the book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, stated that there are 7 factors: character, relationship, knowledge, intuition, experience, past success, and ability. And I love the way, this is written for us to take a look at. And, the first part of that is to take a look at those different myths and see if you fall in any of those traps. And then the other part is these 7 factors right here. Just take a look, and you can actually consider for yourself where you might be. And when we talk about character, really, that's like who you really are. It's it's not that person that shows up when we first meet somebody, right? It's not that person. It is who you really are, what you really do, how you really think and feel, your values, all those things. And the relationship is, who you know. And you're a leader only if you have followers, right? And so that always requires the development of relationships. And I believe that nothing significant is done alone. Nothing significant is done alone. And so when you are whatever career you might have, or status and all those things, I would encourage you to build relationships. While you're building anything else, build relationships, and the right kind of relationships with the right people. So you already have your own mission and vision of what you want to manifest. And so you want to build relationships with people that are aligned with that and who will support your goals, right? And then knowledge. Information is vital to a leader. So you need to know the facts, understand vision for your future, timing, and all those things. But guess what? If you don't really know the environment you're in, who you're working with, what you're working towards. So for me, when I go into a different organization, a different environment, I want to do my research first, right? I want to be able to read the room. I want to be able to understand the culture itself. CUL, the culture, culture, TULTURE, right? And understand that, being able to read the room. And then that intuition, like, what do you feel? So you really have to have more than a command of the data, which is the knowledge, right? You really have to understand some intangibles, like, what do you feel? So the main difference between managers and leaders, leaders are seeking to recognize and influence. And some of those intangible things that you might influence or understand is energy, morale, timing, and momentum. And so what do you feel, right? And then experience, being like, where have you been? Where have you been? Experience. Again, if you're just starting out, it's like, I don't really have any experience. Well, guess what? Do a good job in that first one, and then you have some leverage, some credibility. So you want to say, well, where have you been? And what kind of challenges have you faced? And those challenges are, building blocks to the things that are going to come before you. Believe me. So you want to make sure you understand experience doesn't guarantee credibility, but it does encourage people to give you a chance to prove that you are capable. So you want to have some experience, especially in the area that you want to work in a long time. So you're gonna have relationships, then you're gonna have some knowledge, and guess what? Intuition and experience. And then another factor is past success. Really, like, good track records. You have done something before. This could be simple as playing spades, right? You want to sit down with somebody who don't even know how to shuffle the cards. You want to have somebody who has some past success. Like, what have they done, right? Maybe just Uno, and I love playing Uno, by the way. So you want to have a positive track record. So every time when I'm meeting different people, I want to just have a conversation. If we are working on a particular project, let's say, have you done this before? And if they have, then that gives me like a sense of ease But then the other question is, have you done it before, and have you had good results? Right? And so then the other seventh factor would be ability. So what can you do? What can you do? So you want to know that a person has skills and abilities, talents, and to be able to get some things done. That's what we're doing, right? So we're leading people. We're actually talking about results, right? We're treating people with dignity and respect. We're showing up for ourselves first, and then we serve others from the overflow. We have character and integrity. Integrity being, number one. Integrity, your character being number one. And so that's what we talked about today. 7 factors of influence that women leaders should really master. Should really master. And you might want to go back and if you have not read the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell, then I would encourage you to do that. This topic right here, it's been written about so much. You can go on YouTube and it'll take you through those 21 laws, and you get like the video version of it. There's PDFs. If you just Google it, and you'll be able to just download like a good description of those. And then when you come to the chapter on the law of influence, and then it'll go over those 7 factors of influence. So we don't have to make it hard, or you can just get you the audio version or the actual paperback, whatever. But I would go with the free. I like free. Free is good. So with that said, I want to encourage you to understand how you yourself rate on the various, the 7 factors. You want someone to have confidence in your ability to lead. You want someone to trust you for a specific role or responsibility. Then start here with your own character, your relationships, your knowledge, your intuition, your experience, your past success, and your ability. And if on a scale of 1 to 10, you find that 1 being low and 10 being high, that you have some work to do, then get to work. How about that? Get to work. And that's get to work. So that's what I am here to share with you. Again, my name is Angela M. Odom. I am the host of the Better You Leadership Podcast. Today, episode 40, we have talked about leadership being equated to influence, and then what it is not synonymous with. And we focused on 7 factors of influence, which influence being equated to leadership. And so I'm the founder of the Better You Project brand, and I am so excited to share with you that we do have openings in my private coaching program. It's Become a Better Leader in 100 Days. I will drop the link so that you can, what you do is you're going to click on the link, right? And you're going to schedule a call. Then we'll go through the entire program. You see if we're a good fit, and then we'll get started. And at the end of that, I guarantee, if you do the work, that you will definitely have more confidence in your ability to lead others, identifying your own unique skills, your talents, your abilities, and then of course whatever your goal is, that's what we shoot for, and we'll help you round those things out. With that said, you all have an amazing day, and remember, I am rooting for you. Y'all take care and have an amazing day.